Hello and welcome back to another scene building tutorial. My name is Sam Lytle. I am the creator of Beyond CAD, and today I have with me a special guest home for COVID quarantine. How you feeling, buddy?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
I'd rather be at school right now.
Got a sixth grader that feels perfectly fine, but because of COVID protocols, has to be quarantined today. So he's hanging out with me. He would rather be at school than learning Beyond CAD. And
No, I just don't want to do it for an hour.
okay, well, this is gonna be 2 hours. So I figured that I would teach him how to use Beyond CAD and record the session, and hopefully be helpful to you trying to learn how to use it. So hopefully right now you're seeing the renders that we've done. This is the Las Vegas Boulevard project, Pedestrian Bridge Alternatives. This is another Civil FX, the Division of Parametrics project. Make sure to check them out. And this was actually developed for a proposal. We wanted to show both our concepts for alternatives and also the power of technology showing alternatives. And that's something that I want to show with Beyond CAD, is how our phasing system can not only be used for phases of a project, but also early on looking at different alternatives. So we will start up in the editor, and this is probably what it's going to look like when you open it, and we're going to start importing files. Any questions so far?
Nope.
He plays Fortnite, and this is the same technology. So all right, so we're going to start grabbing these files, and we are going to import. And the settings I have is separate duplicate materials on this one. Split large meshes is unchecked. My offset is 50 feet, and my rotation is all 0. These
What's
ones
rotation?
Rotation, when you bring in the file, it can be like flipped on the side in different ways. So you can,
Show me.
sure. So we'll flip it 90 degrees on the pitch just to see what happens. So see how it's flipped on its side?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to the Organize tab, select it, and we could fix that. I think if we did 270, it would fix it. But let's just delete it and re-import it to show the proper import settings. Because once you get the import settings correct, then all the other stuff, the buildings and the bridges, will all come in the right way. So let's go to the aerial again, and we'll do our pitch at 0. And everything else is unchecked. We're gonna test this out and see if our scale is correct as well. All right, so we don't know if this is too big or too small. So what I would like to do is just grab a traffic path and see if that works. So that looks like it fits within the lane. So that means it's probably the right scale. All right, another thing we're going to show in this project is the bounded box, which is kind of cool. And now that we have that one and we know the settings were correct, we can do these other ones. Let's try the buildings. And I've done some tests on this before, so I know that most of these come in the same, but a couple of them we're going to have to adjust. No sleeping on the job.
Okay.
That cookie you just ate, you got to earn that. He ate a pumpkin cookie, and he says, if the pumpkin cookie doesn't have chocolate chips, it's healthy. So there's hashtag facts, right? All right, so this one, it didn't come in right because we don't want buildings in the middle of our road. So
But I'm confused though, because it didn't have any rotation though.
I know it's rotated correctly. It's just in the wrong spot. So we just have to bring it and just drag it over to the right spot. This is called the transform widget. So see how it has the outlines of those buildings. So we want to get them oriented correctly. Escape to deselect, and then we'll keep importing the other stuff. So those were the generic. These are the more detailed buildings. We'll see if they come in correctly. It does auto zoom, and usually that works. So those ones came in correctly.
Oh.
All right. So file import.
Wait, is this Vegas?
This is Las Vegas Boulevard in Las Vegas. Yes, sir. So let's do road surface. So see how now we got our road surface. but it looks kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
We probably want some striping. So let's go to stripes. We got some stripes, but even those look kind of weird, right? Can you tell why they look weird?
Because they're trying to look 3D, but they're not 3D.
Yeah, and then also, is that how stripes look in real life, or do they look different?
I don't know. I don't. Probably. Yeah.
Maybe dashed?
Yeah, dashed. Yeah, dashed.
So if you go to import custom and texture, you can go, oh, that was the wrong one. There you go. So I went to pattern striping 2, and that makes it into pattern stripes. And this is, good data provided by Civil FX, and we have those texture shaders to make that work. All right, so let's keep importing. So you thought this was going to take forever. We almost already have our project set up. Curbs and gutters. See how that looks. Yeah, that's good.
Wait, what is that? Are those people?
Yeah, because they took these pictures from above, so it's actually the shadows of people. So if I was going to do this for a client, I'd probably go into Photoshop and Photoshop out all those people so they don't look weird. So curbs and gutters, so you can see those came in, I think, where they're supposed to.
Wait, can you make those 3D, the curves 3D, like?
So they come out a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's bring them up a little bit.
There you go.
You're going to expect perfection on this thing, aren't you?
Maybe.
All right, and then what else do we need? We need arrows. I don't think these come in correctly, so we're going to have to adjust them. So they're coming off over here on the side, like those other buildings. So let's go to
Wait, Dad, that's
arrows.
glitching. Dad, the arrow's glitching.
Really? Yeah, it's probably called Z fighting. It's when you have two surfaces in the same spot and they're trying to fight to be on top. It's kind of a weird thing. All right, so let's get these in the right spot. There, and then we got to move them over. Maybe. You might break it. And then let's import these signs. So these are like billboards. All right, so should we put some trees?
Yeah.
So those look like palm trees, right?
Yeah, but they're like squashed.
Yeah, and again,
It's like squash guacamole.
if we were doing this for a client, we'd go into Photoshop and remove those, but we're not going to. So if we go here, you're not a client.
Oh.
We go see how this is the asset library over here on the right. So there's over 1,000 different objects you can get, and you can place them in your scene.
From just trees?
There's not 1,000 trees, but total there's people and cars and buildings.
That's cool.
Yeah, and a lot of these assets were made for video games. We're just using them for this kind of thing. Does that look like the right palm tree?
No, too
How about that
light.
one?
No. That one.
It's too small.
Oh.
How about
No, palm tree 6.
Look at
Actually,
that.
yeah, that's good. That's good.
All right. So I clicked it, and it's on my cursor like this. And now I just click and place. Just keep clicking. Come over here, you try. Oh, come over on this side.
But could you do it on the road if you wanted to?
Sure. But you don't want to. You want to put them over there.
But
We're
isn't
going to
this
have to
a
go
curve?
delete those later.
Isn't this a sidewalk curve?
Yeah, it's a median, but you can't
What's
plant
a
a
median?
palm tree in the concrete. Right, now use the scroll wheel to zoom out a little bit. And then the right click to move this way.
Could I do this on buildings? Would it work?
Sure. You're gonna have to go delete all those things that you're doing.
Okay, I'll stop. Red and the green.
That's called the transform widget. That's how you rotate them and move them around.
But what does the red thing, that red arrow do?
It moves them this way.
What does the green one do?
Moves them this way.
What does the blue one do?
It moves them up.
What does the green one? No, like the green, like the green circle.
It rotates them.
Whoa. So you could curve it like that. Palm tree 43.
Well, kind of. I mean, that one's made to be curved. It would look weird if you did these ones. All right, just gonna place these ones. Do you see how when you move far away they look kind of funny, and then you zoom in and they look really realistic?
Mm-hmm.
See how they look funny?
Yeah.
It's called level of detail, and it's because if you have too many really fancy trees, then it will slow it down, and so it like replaces, when you get far away, it replaces them with lower quality ones so that it doesn't slow down too much. And video games do that too. Like if you watch Fortnite's not like the most realistic thing, but if you watch like Red Dead Redemption 2
Yeah.
or
Red
COD or something like that, and you look at their trees,
Red Dead is really good graphics though.
yeah. But if you look at them in the distance, they'll do that too. It's called tree popping, and they have fancy ways to get around it, better than this, but
I think it's pretty fancy.
yeah. All right, and then we got some other trees. So see, there's some others over here in the aerial, so we'll go put those in.
Is it almost time for me to do the Xbox controller?
No.
Oh.
We got to add our pedestrian bridges. We got to add our traffic and our people.
Oh.
What do you think? Are those pretty cool trees?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like the palm trees better though.
Yeah, but we can't put them everywhere because we got to make it look realistic.
You have to do a lot of trees to make it look realistic right next to each other.
Yeah. That's, if you can ever put trees, it's always good because trees look really good in these sorts of things. And they're easy and cheap to place. You know,
the thing is though, is they're taller than the buildings. They're taller than like.
because the buildings are flat.
No, they're taller than the 3D buildings too. See how tall those trees are?
So
How can you make them smaller?
sure. So you're telling me I chose the wrong trees?
No, I'm telling you, you should.
See, those ones are small ones.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying like the palm trees. Like, could you make the palm trees smaller so they look more realistic?
The palm trees are supposed to be that tall.
They
Yeah.
are?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess. Yeah, but what's like is it the same for trees too? Like it's like if you go more out, it's like
Yeah, they have level of details and they pop out. Yep.
could we start putting some people?
Sure. I want to show you though. See that
Mm-hmm.
street light? We have those too. If you go to transportation, lighting.
Lampposts.
Yep.
How many lampposts do you have?
Not that one. There. That looks kind of like it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you want some people?
Yes.
So there's different kinds of people. There's people that just stand there and move around. There are static people that are like statues, and then there are people that walk. So we'll do some civilians. We're gonna use the line tool for this.
So they just walk in a straight line.
No, this is if you place them. We could have done it with those palm trees too. So if you select the line tool, let's say we want to put some people along here, and then we choose which people we want.
Alvin, Beth, Dina, Henry, Helen, Jamal, Jen, Joy.
See,
Jaw
see how they all like stand in a straight line, but that's
Yeah.
kind of creepy, right?
Yeah.
So let's see, in order placement. Kai.
Kai. Wait. Manual.
And then you
Ray.
can adjust how many people you want.
Mm-hmm.
You can
Wait,
do a lot
did
of
you
them.
put Jason on there?
We don't have a Jason. We don't like that name.
Why did you name me?
And then you do random offset. So watch this. Oh, come on. See that?
But that's still kind of creepy though. Can you make it like so it's like
Random rotation.
yeah, random rotation.
Yeah. This is too many people. Let's just do like that many.
But could you make it so they don't walk on the road?
They're not on the road. There you go. All right, and one thing about this organize tab, so we want to get things organized the right way. And we're going to make a folder. Let's make this one, let's call this existing. So these are all the things that are there right now. And then we're going to organize and drag and drop these buildings in there. Actually, I think the road surface, that would probably fall into proposed because it's different. So we're going to call that the proposed. So proposed means like the stuff that changes. So the stripes change, the curbs and gutters change, the arrows change, the medians change, the stop bars change, the tree boxes change, the sign does not, so that's existing. So now you can like turn off the existing and propose, see that?
Yeah.
And then all these trees, we got to put them all into a folder. And then once we get them into a folder, we'll put them into existing.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty windy today.
Yeah,
It's gonna rain.
maybe. So now we have all those palm trees in one, so we can shut them all off at the same time if we want.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to move them to existing. So now, if you shut them off, they're gone too. And then all these broadleaves we want to put into a folder as well. And if you use the line tool, then it automatically puts them all into a folder, so you don't have to do all this stuff.
Oh.
Or the brush tool. I
Why are
can
you
show that
clicking it
too.
so many times though?
So there are different ones. See this too, how it's
Wow.
coming out? I'm clicking and dragging it
Couldn't
into
you
this
just delete
folder.
every single one though? Is there a tool so you could just delete everything?
I'm not deleting them. I'm moving them all into a folder, into a category.
yeah.
So if you drop this down, they're all in there. So yeah, we're getting better. We're gonna have options where you can just like go select them all and then put them all into a folder. For right now, just gotta drag and drop them. It's not too
Why
bad.
they're broadly 6? Oh, because they're different trees. Never mind.
Yeah, they're similar, but they're just slightly different. So now we got all the broadleafs in the folder. You can turn those on and off. So we'll put those into existing, and then shrub. Remember our shrubs?
Yeah.
All right, and then look, see how we put all those people using the
Yeah.
line tool? They're automatically in their own folder, which is nice. So the shrub goes into existing, the streetlight goes into existing, and the people go into existing.
Wait, so there's a folder and a folder and a folder?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the place line,
But could you take
let's
it out of the folder
rename
though?
that and say, call it people. Yeah, you can take it out. And then, so again, you can turn those on and off, and then we put them in there.
That's cool.
All right, so it's coming together, but one thing I want to do before we go further is I want to save it, because if it crashes, then I'll lose everything if I don't save it. So save as, we'll call this LVB Ped 1,
Jason.
not Jason.
Why do you not like that?
All right, so we're making good progress on our scene. We saved it. Our arrows are still messed up. I think part of it is because they are floating. So let's go to propose and arrows and see if we can bring them down at all. Yeah, see, I think we need to rotate them in like different ways.
Yeah.
They're just never going to be perfect. So I think we need to rotate them on this green thing over here. There we go. That's a little better. Oh, that looks a lot better.
Yeah, that looks way better.
Just a little off,
But
that's
yeah,
okay.
that one is like in the ground. One of them was in the ground, Dad.
Yeah, that's okay. We might fix it later, but it's okay. All right, so we're gonna do traffic. Actually, before we do that, I'm gonna change the asphalt here. It's just a little too dark. That got dark, huh? Not funny? That's
Wait, it's like,
it's too gray, huh?
that's too white.
Here, let's try this one. And then we're gonna change the scale.
But can't you make it like, that's too, can you make that like,
Not so brown.
can you make it a little more brown, like darker?
Yep, so we go to brightness, see down here, this is our texture.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect right there.
Yeah.
That's better than it was.
Yep. And then, so traffic, over here on the left, these are our tools. So on the right, that's all of our assets.
Mm-hmm.
On the left are our tools. So if we want to change the time of day, we can do that here.
Oh, but what if it's like in the winter? Won't it be like the shadow be like on a different angle?
That's true. That's a good point. So let's see if this works.
Oh, that's cool. It can.
It can snow.
Whoa.
You know, it could snow in
No,
Las Vegas.
I didn't.
Yeah, because it can't. And you can even bring the clouds down, so it's like really snowy. Oh, they actually fall on the ground. That's cool.
You didn't know something that you made.
There's a lot of things I don't know. 'Cause
And then it melts too, Dad. That's cool.
that's cool.
Because it's on the asphalt and it like melts.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right, so let's make it sunny again.
Could it snow while it's sunny?
Nope. And so you can change the time of day, the brightness, the shadow distance. So if you don't want to show the shadows or if you want to show them. And then
You shouldn't show them. Don't show them. So then we can see the cars better.
we want to show the shadows because it's going to make it more realistic. But sometimes if it's a big complex scene, it gets slow. Like my graphics card isn't good enough. So sometimes you want to turn down the shadows.
Oh.
All right, so this is the traffic over here. See these 5 colors?
Yeah.
There's vehicles, rail, cyclists, joggers,
cyclist
and walkers.
is the best one.
Why?
Because it goes the fastest. The car goes pretty slow. But,
You can change the speed.
oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess the last time I did it, you couldn't change the speed.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to do 2D because it's just easier. Whoa.
2D, R2D2.
R2D2. You pumped for Mandalorian Season 3?
Yeah, but
Bet you're mad that they got rid of, what's her face? Cara Dunes?
yeah.
Better name?
And
Alright.
she used to live in Las Vegas too.
That's true.
And she was a WWE fighter or whatever.
It's true. All right, so I added 3 lanes on that lane, and then I'm going to see the speed.
Wait, politeness was like they crash into each other, like they're like.
Kind of like they merge and they have road rage.
Could we do that? Could we just make 100%? Dead?
Just make them like super aggressive.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is like in the city where people get pretty crazy, huh?
Oh.
All right, so let's name this path. We're going to name this North.
Well, if you watch this video, you're not crazy.
Right.
So all you guys who are listening to this video or watching it, you're not crazy.
Am I a crazy driver?
You're not crazy because you just don't like you just don't drive like.
I drive like a grandpa.
Yeah.
That's
But
true.
you haven't gotten a crash yet.
Knock on wood. All right, so that's. The traffic's pretty boring when you're doing it, but it's pretty cool when you turn it on. So this is an eastbound.
That's what makes sense. It's boring when you're doing it, but it's boring when you.
No, like when we're placing these
Oh.
orange things, it's kind of boring. But when we turn them on and you see the cars moving, then it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Wait, Dad, I thought you were gonna put it like 90 miles per hour and zero politeness. Would your computer crash?
No,
Prove it.
but you'd get letters from concerned citizens of Las Vegas that you're stereotyping.
And it looks like.
Make it 35. And then this one's west.
Wait.
Wester.
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 You could do Western. What about the South?
And then this is south.
Oh.
But you're going to notice something. What's going to happen when I turn on the traffic? What's going to happen in that intersection, do you think?
They're gonna stop for each other. Well, if there's politeness, then yes.
Mm-hmm. But I haven't set up anything. Like, what happens if they don't stop for each other?
It's just gonna like crash.
Should
Like-
we see
Like
what
they're
happens?
just gonna go through each other. Like that's what happens when you do like that.
You've seen me do that
game
before.
Yeah, like they don't even crash. They just.
Have you ever watched me do a project like this? Like actually like build a project?
No.
Welcome to the most boring day of your life.
My point why I want to be at school.
Mhm.
I'm just kidding.
You're going to be telling your kids, you're going to be like, I was experiencing game-changing new software. All right, so we got our lanes, and so let's push play. That's this play button up here on the top right.
Mhm.
And you can have it do 1 time speed, which is like regular, or you can speed it up. Whoa.
Whoa. So they just go through each other.
Yeah, so we need to fix that, right?
But can't you? But that's what your workers have been doing. Or,
Yeah, so developers have made it so you
Yeah,
can do
developers.
intersection controllers. So that's
Oh,
this thing right up here.
yeah.
So you have to set it up. So we want to add 4 paths because there's 4 that are in conflict.
What does null mean?
Null means you haven't selected one yet. So I'm going to select west and east and then north
And then south.
and then south. And then what you want to do is you want to do these stop bars. So see right over here. See that orange stop bar? You
Yeah.
want to match it up kind of like,
Right here.
yeah.
Right there. So then they just stop. Well, but once they stop and once the other car passes, will they move again?
Uh-huh.
Whoa. Pretty
All right, so this one we want to stop over on this side.
Wait, did you take out the trees, Dad? Or
Yeah,
the
they're still
oh.
there. Okay, and then north. Where's our north?
Do you have a stop block so the people can go through the stop block? Like, will the cars stop when will they pass?
Yeah, you can put traffic. You can put pedestrian paths in here too.
Can we do that?
Yeah, just a second. All right, so I got these, and then so Jason, look, the red and the green. That means the reds are going to go together and the greens are going to go together.
Yeah.
So now let's test this again. We'll speed it up so we don't have to wait so long. There you go.
That's cool. But like, could you make it so they have no they don't care about each other? They just start crashing into each other.
Well, I made that one path pretty aggressive. What it means is there's just
A lot of crashes.
they just merge more. I think it was this one.
Could we do it though?
See how they're like trying to merge around.
Yeah.
That's what.
But
that
just
means.
could you make it like all of them like just like -4 or whatever you were putting it at?
Like super aggressive.
Yeah.
Man, you just love chaos, huh?
I know.
I'm not going to, but there's some of these vehicles I don't really like. Like this van I don't like. This van I don't like. This looks like a cop car. I want to add
That
this
looks like
one.
a cop car.
Yeah. So this is how you change your traffic
Do
library.
a cop car because there's gonna be a lot of chaos,
Let's
Dad.
put this wrecker in there. I mean, tow truck. And then I want to get rid of that and that And
I like the blue truck.
this one,
Yeah. Actually,
the
no.
tanker.
No, the tanker.
All right, so now we'll only see these cars. So it's just gonna look a little better. And I changed the timing to be 90 seconds. So now they'll stop and wait for 90 seconds.
Why did he? That would be fun if you had to wait for. Well, I guess that's what happens really in real time.
And sometimes you're gonna see them kind of still drive through each other, and I think it's just because we put too many cars.
Yeah.
So they still went through. But I think for the most part we have it. So, all right, so you want to do the Xbox already? We haven't even set up our pedestrian bridges. Okay, let's see if we can get to it.
That I waited 45 minutes. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's a good accomplishment for me.
Okay, so to use an Xbox, I already have this one paired, so I'm just going to turn it on. It should automatically connect to my PC. And then you can do it through the presenter mode down here on the bottom left. The second one where it says present. Or let's turn on this. I'm going to turn on the traffic. Get in a good position. And then you just do F1.
Like F1 driving, like.
No,
F1
it's just the key.
Oh.
All right, there you go.
So I've been waiting for the last 50 minutes. How do you go fast again? What did I do?
And you had one job.
Oh.
So hold down shift, or not shift, trigger. Yeah. And then I think like X is jump maybe. Nope.
Space bar.
A. Yeah. See, it says up
Yeah,
here
I
on the
know.
top left.
Wait, you.
And then you
set
can
that
change
up.
character by doing Y.
Yeah, like shape shifting.
Don't run into the cars.
I never got touched by a car. I'm an American enjoyer.
Okay. She's like a super soldier. What do they call them in Marvel?
Yeah, super soldier. Oh.
Wrong button.
This guy got hops. Could you drive on a vehicle?
You want to try driving? All right, so vehicle, you do this one. So you're going to have to turn around.
Beyond CAD.
Yeah.
It is pretty realistic. I didn't like go through it. Like you could see
Yeah,
the inside.
it
But
stops. And then if you switch to X, then it'll make you the first person.
I like this one
So
better.
you're in the wrong lane. They're going to run into you.
I can't get ran over.
And if you do Y, then it changes the car.
Here, I'm gonna do the Lambo. This is the Beyond CAD Lambo.
That's not a Lambo.
I know, but in
If
my
anything, it'd be a Porsche.
yeah, Porsche. That's it doesn't really. Never mind.
Okay, you're freaking people out by running through
I'm
cars.
I'm going the.
So if you switch left bumper and right bumper, it speeds you up. So right bumper. Yeah, now you go fast. And now you'll go really fast.
It's not letting me.
Well, turn around. You're going to drive off the face of the earth.
Whoa, this is. Wait, can you do this for a person too, like Usain Bolt?
No.
Now I can actually be a normal person. I think I'm too fast. This is fun. If you guys get Beyond CAD, do this. Instead of
Like, don't make your project look good
Yeah,
and make it look good for your
just do
clients.
this.
Just drive around.
this is
we
better.
haven't even added the actual parts of the project that we need to.
Oh, I'm stuck. Can you drift?
Not yet. It's the first request. All right. Well, we got to pause. We got to go, and then we'll come back and finish it. All right, I'm back. I don't have my partner with me right now. Maybe I'll bring him in for the end. But he said, Dad, I can only take so much of this, and I get it, really. All right, so I have done a few more things. I've added a lot of existing context. I've also been trying to get everything organized and phased correctly in the organized hierarchy. So we have existing and proposed. And then those are the folders in the organized hierarchy, but then I also have the existing and proposed phasing, which is a little different and very important. So in the existing, down here at the bottom, if you click down, it says is additive. I know that's hard to read, but if you click that, then that means this is like a base level. It's never going away. And so if I don't click that, it's going to go away. But if I click that, it just means everything's going to keep adding on top of that. So for any phase that is going to be permanent, you're going to want to add that. But if there's something that is temporary, like traffic cones or construction workers or something like that, then you may not want to check that. So proposed, when I check that, then everything goes off for that. And it also works for our traffic system. If you go over here, and you should be able to just click the this and select existing and proposed right here on the dots. So it's a little different than selecting the path and editing the attributes there, but phasing is extremely important. And so this is also the patch update around November 1st, 2021. And so if you're watching this sometime in the future, there may be other changes or updates based on when you're watching it. All right, so we're going to start bringing in our bridge alternatives, our pedestrian bridge alternatives, which is a big part of this project. And so I'm going to find them right here in bridge alts. So let's do alt 1, combine, and see what happens. These settings, I think these are correct. Our measurement unit is centimeters, but we'll find out pretty quick. All right, so it's coming in not exactly right. And I've tested this before, and I think it was just exported with some different settings. So we'll just go ahead and select that and move it to where it needs to be. All right, it's been a little while since I've done this project, but I think this is roughly the area that we're looking for. You can see we have some conflicts. Those are easy enough to move. And then these trees, we're going to need to do something with them as well. And I think what we're going to do is create another phase and call it existing removed. So let's do that. And we'll just rename this alternative 1. So we need to go find these trees. So this one is somewhere in existing. Go find that one that's selected, easy enough. And we gotta add a phase called existing removed, and put that there. So that just automatically turned off because we have that turned off. So when we turn it on, it'll be gone. And then we're going to do the same for these guys. This was somewhere in here. And so let's do that. Existing removed. We could also try and pull it out of the folder, but I think this is going to be just a little bit more elegant. And then let's get this guy out of there. All right, we may adjust some of those phasing elements later, but I think that's a good start. So we're also going to do some texturing of this bridge, but before we get there, we're going to bring in the other alternatives. I can see it's hovering above the ground, so we need to get that fixed. So this is alternative 1. Let's select that and just bring it down. You can kind of see it occludes the ground a little bit when it goes under, and then I have a truck driving in front of me right when that happens. All right, if we find some other conflicts, we can get them moved out of the way. I also added these bus stops and some fencing using the line tool. And now when you place stuff using the line tool, brush tool, they automatically come into your hierarchy. Let's just delete this. All as one group, which is really nice. All right, so, and actually before I do anything, I'm gonna save. All right, so that saved quickly. And we're gonna start bringing the other bridges. So let's turn off alternative 1 right now and bring in the next one. All right, so for whatever reason, this one came in correctly, which is nice. And let's see if we have any conflicts. You can see a traffic signal situation over here. And this is not exact. I know these clearances are not perfect, but this is just to show some alternatives and show the power of Beyond CAD using the phasing system to show various alternatives. So let's go find this guy and do and remove. That's not there. Put him in the existing remove space. All right, so put it in proposed. There's your problem. So existing removed. And let's look at our palm trees. Not too bad. That one's clipping through a little bit, but that's just fine. All right, so now we have our second alternative. And let's get that shut off and bring in the next. Actually, let's just bring in the rest. I'll speed through it for you. All right, so I imported all the pedestrian bridge alternatives, and they're looking pretty good. Nothing is going to be perfect, but again, this is just to show different alternatives. So we wouldn't want it. We wouldn't have to be perfect, because that's not the level of scrutiny that this is going to get. This is actually created on a proposal to try and win work, and so this is an example of how that works. So we have alternatives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over here. We have them all organized, but now we need to, you may have noticed, was trying to remove trees that were in conflict or other assets that were in conflict with those. But let's go through and make these phases as well. So we type it in and then you say new phase, and then it's going to show up right there. And then we're going to have that go on to, not sure what's going on there. So if we have alternative 1 turned on and this turned on, then it should show up. So let's have that turned off and then do alternative 2, new phase. And same idea, we do alternative 2, alternative 2. Then if we turn it off, then it should turn off. So I'll just go ahead and do all that as well and speed through that process. Okay, so we have all of these elements. These are those existing removed things. And we're gonna go, I'm just gonna go test those and make sure that they work. So alternative 1, alternative 2, alternative 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's pretty cool. We're obviously not going to want them all on at the same time, but at least for now, we know that it works, so we can continue to build out our project. So what we want to do first is just do a quick texturing. They're not going to be perfect because these are just alternatives, but let's start with that first alternative. So glass is one of those things that's pretty cool if you have chances to use it. So let's see what we got. So that looks pretty neat. I mean, we could try these other ones, but I think that tinted one is going to be the best. I mean, frosted is okay, but you can barely see through it. So we want the tinted. Actually, let's try the texture just to be thorough. So texture is pretty cool as well, but let's just give it a little color with tinted. And then our bridge structure, let's just find a concrete and a scale that we are happy with. And it takes a minute to load the texture, so I'm just making sure that's okay. You can also see these truck stripes through the bridges. Again, this is not perfection. These are just alternatives. All right, so I went ahead and textured them all. Some of them, there were some minor issues. Actually, let's just go through and double check, because we've been working on making sure if something's hidden that it's not going to conflict, but that still happens. And I think it happens because we need to not just have we need to not just have the alternative turned off, but also the actual object in the organized hierarchy over here. So I think they're looking okay. They're not perfect, again. These are alternatives. All right, so, and let's go through and check. Actually, I want to set up an orbit camera. So to do that, I'm going to go to transportation, signage. I don't know why, but I just always choose something like this. And let's go to our render, video, orbit, add, find an object. So it selected it, and now we want to generate view. And we're going to see what it looks like. So that's way too fast. Let's make it higher and slower. Too high. Okay, and let's make our radius 400 by 400. It's probably still, that's probably a little too slow, so let's go maybe 50 seconds. All right, and you'll notice we have the handicap parking sign in the middle, so let's just go find that bad guy and turn it off. And the orbit camera will still work. So let's go back and let's name it. We'll just name it orbit. And then we're going to go to present and present. And we're going to orbit. The name hasn't refreshed yet. Hopefully it will soon. And we're going to switch through them while it's orbiting. All right, so this is coming right along. We just need some pedestrians. All right, we do need to add some pedestrians, but before I do that, I just want to go ahead and show the bounding box. And I'll cover it more thoroughly in a future video, but it's right here. It's this bounded box icon. And basically it makes it so that you can automatically generate this really cool bounding box. We're not going to use the auto generate feature because this already has one, this model that I have created by CivilFX. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use gradient background. And what this means is we can create this, this cool look. We don't have to do it pink. You can make it blue, you can make it green, you can make it anything in between. So we'll just do blue just to keep things the way they are. But that way, if we do back out, it's kind of embracing the fact that we don't have this whole city modeled, because we don't need the whole city modeled. So, and then another thing I'm going to do, because I don't like these palm trees, and I also made this palm tree the group, and I should have just made a folder. So I'm going to delete all the palm trees, all these ones, and place a different kind. So I just want to do existing removed and then delete those. And I'll use the line tool to show how that auto groups. So I like this palm 32 and 33. So line placement, you click the button, you drag and click the line, and then there you go. And we're going to space those a little bit more. And then we want to do random rotation. And then when we're done, we click, actually let's mix them up a little bit. There we go, so we have two models, and then we do confirm. And then what that does is it creates a placed line group. And so that you can just drag and drop that into existing. And then we'll do the same for this other side. Actually, I'm going to just play these individually, just because I know we're going to need to remove some of these. And I want to just shut all these off so that it doesn't try to place them on anything. And again, when you place, we're using the individual placement tool, it's going to randomly rotate and scale each one of those that you place, which really helps it look more organic. And you could do, obviously there's a lot more diversity around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new folder down here at the bottom, call it Palms. And then just drag all these in there. Okay, so now we're going to do some pedestrians. So let's start with alternative 1. And someday we hope to have the ability to do stair animations, but we don't have that right now. So we just want to get our pedestrians and place some paths. All right, so as I get more of these, I'm just going to place simpler paths just because we don't need a ton. So I'm just going to create one path each. I want this to be alternative 3. And again, some of the bugginess you're seeing me experience, most or all of it should be fixed by the time that you're using this, as we are constantly improving on Beyond CAD. For example, these are from alternative 2 and they're walking up here in the sky when you push play, but if you just turn alternative 2 on and then off, they should be gone. Hello and welcome back. We are continuing our development of this Las Vegas Boulevard pedestrian bridge alternative project in Beyond CAD. And since the last portion of this video, we've added 4-phase traffic, and it's really powerful because you can do multiple phases and you can do turning movements in this scenario. And so I'm going to do that before we move forward with the with adding the pedestrians and getting all the alternatives set up. So I'll shut off my traffic, and you can see that we have our through traffic in both directions, but we're going to add some turn lanes. And one thing that we've changed as well, a few things. One is the stop bars They are now pink so that they're very visible no matter what your mesh is doing. And then also these mesh colors, they alternate just a little bit. So we got this reddish color, and each lane is going to be a slightly different color. And we did that because before they were all the same color, and so they would just kind of blend all together if you had a lot of paths in the same area. So let's go and set up some of these turn lanes. This one, just to be clear, turns into those 3 lanes. All right, and let's just do the 2D view to give us the best chance of being successful on this. So we'll create new, and I think I'll just do a single path with 2 lanes, just to be a little faster and more efficient. And these probably going to need to be adjusted a little bit, but they should be okay. So that's this path. And I'm going to bring this down a little bit, and this one up a little bit, and try and get this curve just a little bit more natural. And then we definitely want to do 2 lanes using our spin box over here. And our width per lane, let's turn that down to 11. And then our spawn rate, we want this to be pretty low. And our speed, we want that to be, let's say, 30. And then we're going to do a curvature here, just so that they go slow down around this sharp turn. And you can see we have these yellow marks right here. And the one thing with the curvatures is you got to make sure they start pretty far back, because it's going to take a while for them to naturally slow down. What it does is it takes the speed limit and then it slows it down to 50%, but it takes a while to get to that 50%. So in this case, we go from 30 miles an hour down to 15 miles an hour through the curve, and then it will speed back up through this. And so I added that curvature, and then we can adjust those mins and maxes using these sliders right here, and you can add multiple curvatures for the same path. So that should be just fine for that one. So we'll rename this, we'll call this, because I know where this is a north to west. This can be helpful later with our intersection controller. Let's go here and do this. This is kind of a west to south movement. We'll just have them end up in that middle lane. We could try and get fancy with some merge and diverge to try and get them into multiple lanes. We'll just do one. So we'll do this west to south. And again, let's do 10, and let's do even less on this one. And let's try 35. I personally like to keep my speed limits all just a little bit different, just for a more organic feel. And that's how things are in the real world. So you're welcome to do the same. All right, so with this one, we're gonna have some overlap here, and hopefully that's not gonna get too many overlapping vehicles. But we'll just do one path and have it go through to that middle lane. So this one is same thing. Let's do 11. Let's do traffic volume even less. And our speed limit, let's do 31, and then we definitely want to add a curvature on this one to keep it slowed down through that sharp curve. All right, and we're going to call that south to east. And then while we're at it, let's go back to this one and add a curvature there. See that yellow indicator? Looks like it's about right. Okay, and then our last one we can do a double lane through here. So let's go to create new, and have them end up somewhere over here. So 11 foot. Let's keep our traffic at 275. Same thing. I like to keep these numbers different just for more organic. That's what you're trying to do with visualization. Oh, we need to make 2 lanes. And our speed limit, let's keep that at 35. And then curvatures, let's add 1 there as well. Okay, and then we're going to name this one east to north. All right, so we have all of these lanes where they need to go, but now we need some intersection controllers. Actually, we already have our intersection controller. Let's just go ahead and add all of the lanes to that. So we're going to have 4 different phases now. So let's change this to 4. And then we're going to have 4 more paths. So I clicked that 4 times, and then we're going to go through and select these and change the stop bar on those. So these ones will be in the same phase because they're not interfering with each other. And so we'll change those to 3. And then we'll change this one. We're going to do this west to south. Get that stop bar set. And then we want to do this. Try that again. East to north. And get our stop bar set. Okay, so this should be good to go. We're going to switch back to 3D view. And we're going to turn this on to see if it works. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't set these last 2 to 4. That would have definitely caused some conflicts. All right, turn up our traffic. Oh, and I see we have problems. And I know what we did, which is we didn't turn off the meshes for the alternatives. So I'm going to go fix that, and then I will be back with you in just a minute. All right, so I went back and fixed that, and just a note for all of you, when you're doing stuff like this, make sure if you're doing different alternatives or phases or layers, you want to get them shut off here in the hierarchy, or else they will place those traffic nodes, or if you're doing paintbrush, for placement tools, anything like that, they will show up if you don't do these off. Even if you have them on and the alternatives off, they're still going to be there. So you have to make sure they are shut off in the hierarchy. One other feature I want to point out is we now have the ability to shut off individual traffic paths, and that shuts off both the path display and the traffic when it's on. So I did get the alignments all set up in the vertical axis, and now it should be working fairly well. And you're going to see some cars running through each other. That's, I mean, for one, we're always working on making this as good as possible, and we hope to improve those things. But you can also improve that through the amount of vehicles you have, your vehicles per hour. If you turn those down, then you're going to have a lot better results with those sorts of things. But you can see now we have that 4-phase traffic, which just helps add realism to any of your projects. And another thing too, you'll notice those slowdown paths. You'll see these cars come zipping through, and then they start to slow down. And I know they look fast right now. It's because I have on 5x speed, but they really slow down through the turn on 1x speed, probably a little bit too much. So perhaps we need to fix that a little bit. Let me just look at my vertical traffic path profiles. So they're going up and down a little bit. Not sure what they're getting caught up, but we can fix that later, or we can not worry about it, because for what we're doing, that probably won't be noticed. So yeah, that car is really slowing down through the curve and speeding up again. And that actually makes me want to just go to all these movements and just turn them up more to like a 45, because that's going to be more natural. They'll come in at 45 and then they'll slow down to around 20. All right, back to 1x. So yeah, that looks a lot more natural. They're coming in, slowing down, and then they're going to start accelerating out of the curve, and that's going to give it a natural feel to our visualization. Real quick, just want to see what our sun distance is doing. All right, so let's go to finishing up our pedestrian animations on our alternatives. So let's go to turn on 1, and we have that, and 2, we have our animations on that, and 3, I don't believe we've done animations on this, and I'm going to go check by going to traffic and turning all these paths on, just to see what we have and what we do not have for these. All right, so it looks like we did get some traffic, some pedestrians on alternative 3. And let's go to 4. All right, so we don't have any on 4 yet, so we'll get those placed now. All right, so I went through and I phased all of the paths to the correct alternative, and I think everything is set up right. So now I'm in the presenter mode and just going through and testing to see if everything is the way it should be, and it's looking good so far. One thing to note, when you first start these, the traffic isn't going to be going along them, and so it's going to look really crazy, but you're going to want all the alternatives on together for a while. So, speed everything up. You don't have to have that traffic on so you don't get dizzy. Just turn off the traffic, speed everything up. So what you're doing is you're moving all the traffic along those paths. And then when you turn them off, it's just going to kind of save that traffic path where it was. So, and then when you turn them back, they'll be exactly where they were. And if you don't do that, when you first turn them on, then they're not going to be along the path. They're just going to be starting out. So again, we have all 7 of these alternatives. We can quick switch them. Let's turn our camera back on. This one we have the jogging path. You can see that over there. When they will walk through that column, I need to clean that up a little bit. You can see those pedestrians, and you can see the pedestrian there as well. And then we also have the option to turn off proposed. I don't have any existing traffic, it's all proposed, but if I did, I could have that shown as well. And we have the existing removed. We have that turned off because these alternatives will go through those, and we just don't want to do that. So when I make videos, I can turn on that as part of the existing or even the proposed, and then you can turn these on, and through video editing or even the media sequencer within Beyond CAD, you can make a really cool video showing all the different alternatives in the same scene, in the same view, the same video, and it's very powerful to do so. And eventually also we'll have these where you can check them and they'll make that alternative glow, everything on it, and we don't have those working as well. We don't have those working yet, but we will eventually. So this is an example project. You can check this out for yourself. If you haven't already, go to beyondcad.com/download, and you can download this and try this example project so that you can take a look of it. You can look at it yourself and go ahead and maybe fix things even better than how I have them. And I'd love to see what you can do with it. Always check out beyondcad.com for the latest information about this software, and also check out Beyond Typicals, which is a typical section creator that we have also made and released. So check all that out. And with that, I will see you in the next walkthrough video.